All right, good morning, everybody. As people file in, we're one day out from the Cheez-It Bowl between Miami and Oklahoma State. Game will be tomorrow, Tuesday, December 29th at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Game will be on ESPN. A couple other housekeeping items as folks enter into the chat room or enter into the webinar rather. We'll get started with Miami head coach Manny Diaz here in a moment. We'll have Coach Diaz available for a little bit before Coach Gundy joins us closer to 9 Eastern. If you've made it to this call, but you haven't already signed up to receive media emails from the game, we invite you to do so. SIDs should have the remote access link for anyone who wants to receive emails, FTP access, so forth. Or you can reach out to the bowl directly. We'll get you taken care of. Same goes for that media FTP. That's where all the pool photos, so on, will be housed throughout bowl week, including on game day. So just let us know if you don't already have access to that. If you plan to be on site for the game and need media parking, get a hold of Noel. We'll get you squared away. Looks like Coach Diaz is here just about ready to join us. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Good morning, Sam.
Thank you for joining us. We've got a few media on the call. I know it's early morning before you get started for the day. You just came into Orlando yesterday, I believe. I wanted to tee you up before we get to media questions. After this kind of wild up and down season, and then just the way things have gone, how does it feel to kind of get to the finish line and see, be able to, get your guys together one last time for the Cheez-It Bowl here tomorrow night?
It felt great last night when we all checked into the hotel. We kind of had that first bowl team meeting, and we know our guys aren't going to get the amazing Orlando Bowl experience that we've experienced, in this program in the past. But just to get here, and I think actually just having sort of feet on the ground in Orlando made it feel more real. And you want, you always want the players to feel like a bowl is a reward for all their hard work. And as we know, in 2020, we don't always get everything we want, but we make do with what we have, and we're very grateful to be here.
Coach, I appreciate that. If any media on the call want to ask a question, you should know the procedure by now, but use the raise hand function and we'll call on you. Our first question will come in from David Furones from the Sun Sentinel. Dave, you can go ahead whenever you're ready and unmute.
Hey, Manny, I just want to know, what's your final message to your team going into this game?
Our final message number one is we've got to be the most excited team to play. I think that's important in bowl games, probably more important this year than ever before. And then we have to finish. This is going to be a very difficult game to win. And it's going to be a grinded out affair, I think, for both teams. And there's going to be back and forth, which, in bowl games, there always is back and forth, and be prepared to go for 60 minutes, because I think that's what it's going to take.
Coach, our next question will come from Tom D'Angelo. Tom, you can go ahead and unmute whenever you're ready. Tom, you can unmute and ask your question when you're ready. All right, we'll move on for now. If anybody else has a question for Coach Diaz, you can raise your hand, and we'll call on you for your time in the sun. Marshall Levenson will be up next. Marshall, whenever you're ready, you can unmute and ask your question.
Yeah, Coach, you said this was going to be kind of a grind of a game for both teams. What do you see from Oklahoma State's defense that you think may pose some challenges for your offense, or what do you see from their defense that you think may bode well for your offense?
They create negative plays, which means that they're going to leverage you into third and long, and then they get you into third and long, they just dominate you. And we got a lot of respect for what they do on defense. I think, stylistically, in a lot of ways, it's how we want to play defense here, and have had success playing defense here. And they make you earn everything, play a lot of man coverage. So there's not a lot of easy throws. And so, like I said, you've got to execute. They're going to force you to execute the ball down the field, which, that's why I think they've had such a successful year, because it's hard to do against the talent and skill level that they have.
Thank you, Coach. I think Tom D'Angelo is ready. Tom, when you when you're ready to unmute, you go ahead and ask your question.
There we go. Yes, a 60-year-old. I'm very good in this technology stuff. Hey, Manny, good morning. You mentioned about how the bowl games have become kind of a standalone game, a bridge game from one year to the next. Can it be more so this year? A kind of a stepping stone toward what you're looking forward to in 2021 because of different, especially your program, the De'Eric announcement, gone through maybe finishing the season strong, which you guys haven't done. How much more can this game help you moving forward than maybe it has in the past, or is it just going to be like, another bowl game?
Yeah, I think it could certainly serve as that effect. I think the last time we came to Orlando, and I think our big win against West Virginia really set us up for a great offseason where we started 10-0 the following year. So I do think there is a kick-on effect. But every year still exists in its own universe, as we've seen. Obviously, we're nothing like the team that played in Shreveport a year ago. So we would like this to, sort of be a bridge to next year. But we know that there will also be some key additions coming to our team next year. But yeah, I mean, this is, there's a way we want to do things and a way we want to establish building a program. And as you've heard me say all year, Tom, we're trying to sort of knock down, these things that have, sort of gotten us in the past, and a bowl win is staring us right in the face.
Coach, we've got another one from David Furones from the Sun Sentinel. David, you can go ahead.
Hey, man, we know in 2020, only as good as that next test. And, ahead of this game, is there anyone, whether it be injury or otherwise, that you already know is out going into tomorrow's game? Outside of, obviously the guys that opted out, but anyone else?
Yeah, no, I think other than that, I think the rest of the crew is good to go.
Remember, if you have a question for Coach Diaz, you can raise your hand using the raise hand function. We'll call on you. Susan Miller-Degnan's up next from the Miami Herald. Susan, you can go ahead and unmute whenever you're ready.
Hey, Manny, do you have any messages? I know David asked you about your final message to your team. Do you have any messages to the fans in general who have been following you all year?
Yeah, I mean, our message is, it's been a difficult year to support the team. We hope we get some Canes fans out in the stadium on Tuesday night. That would certainly be great for us to see, to have the support of the youth family behind us. But it's been a trying year. It just has for everybody. And as you've heard me say before, Susan, I just think the relationship with our fan base and our community is so important to who the University of Miami is. And I think one thing we're all looking forward to is, we can get on the right side of this pandemic in 2021, coming out and playing in a packed Hard Rock Stadium next year and getting back around our fans. So this team, they've advanced us a level in our program. I'm proud of them for that. We have done everything the right way, and and we respect the expectations that we all have at this program. But we're building, and I think our players, see that, and but there's more to come.
Manny, have you learned anything new? I mean, we just talked to you, but about guys who might be returning, or I guess you're waiting till after the bowl game, but is there anything we might find out, like pleasant surprises in the near future, or not?
Well, I'm not waiting until after the bowl game. To me, what I've told them is that it's on them when they choose to announce the world. I think there are some other pleasant surprises coming, but like I said, that's their moment. We want to celebrate it when they're ready to announce that. But yeah, like I said, that's really that's not our call. That's their individual choice when they want to let everybody know.
Coach, our next question will come from David Lake of InsideTheU.com. David, you can go ahead when you're ready.
Yeah, Coach, you talked about the importance of the team being excited to play in this bowl game. And I understand you probably won't know the answer to that till the game kicks off, but do you have a sense on how the excitement level of the team is right now as you prepare?
Well, like I said, I think whenever we talked last, we had some highly spirited practices this past week. Um, you know, when it was at, we're still a little bit of a week away from kickoff, and how are these guys going to go to work? So just based off the evidence there, I was encouraged with what I saw. And like you said, we got to get out there Tuesday night and see the energy and passion that we bring. But I suspect based off what we've seen so far that our guys will be ready to play.
Coach, we've got another question from Marshall Levenson of Pokes Report. Marshall, you can go ahead when you're ready.
Coach, from a defensive standpoint for your team, do you think it's more important to be containing the run or the pass? Last game we saw the defense give up quite a few rushing yards. And Oklahoma State does not have Chuba Hubbard playing, but they do have 3 very good running backs playing. But they also have receivers like Tylan Wallace playing in this game. So what do you think is more important for your defensive success, to control the rushing game or the passing?
Well, it always starts with controlling the run. I mean, it's just simple, basic football. It's a lot easier to hand the ball off than it is to drop back and throw it. A lot more things that can go wrong when you go to throw the ball than when you run it. So, yeah, I mean, and then you have a team like Oklahoma State that, even despite Hubbard being out, I've been very impressed with the other backs. And at times I've not seen a dramatic difference. And that's no offense against Hubbard. I think he's an excellent player, but I just, they have other guys that can make big plays happen as well. And so they want to control the game with their running game. And they've got an outstanding defense, and they want to pound the football and run it and control the game. And so for us, yeah, it is an immense challenge for our run defense. And I think they've prepared well. I think they understand what looks they're going to get and what type of runs they're going to get. I just got to go out there and trust their teammates and play their area of responsibility, do their job, and do it physically.
Coach, we've got another one from David Furones of the Sun Sentinel. David, you can go ahead.
Hey, Coach. I also want to check in on Jared Harrison Hunt coming off the elbow. I'm assuming he's coming back for this game, and how has he practiced the last few days?
Yeah, like I mentioned, yeah, he's been through practice for us. How many snaps he can get in, we'll sort of find out in terms of how he's feeling their game day. But he's been back in the mix in practice and taking reps, so that's been a big boost for us. Obviously, that guy was a starter for us midway through the season, so he's been a big miss.
We'll take one last call for questions for Coach Diaz. If you have a question, you can raise your hand using the raise hand function. If not, we will let you get on your way. And it looks like nothing's coming in. So Manny, I appreciate your time this morning. Good luck tomorrow, and safe travels the rest of the day and throughout the weekend. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Got it, Sam. Thank you to you and everybody on your staff.
All right. If you're waiting for Coach Gundy to come on, we'll have him shortly. We'll put up a little interstitial screen to remind you that we'll be back, and we'll see you hopefully around 9 o'clock. But we'll check in shortly. Thank you for your time, and we'll have a transcript out from Coach Diaz shortly once it's available. Thanks again, and we will be right back. How about now? There we go. Now I'm talking. I was having technical difficulties. I apologize for that. We're getting started with Coach Gundy here shortly, now that I've embarrassed myself by muting myself twice in a row. If you haven't, a little quick housekeeping. I apologize for anybody who heard this before. Coach Diaz, if you have not already registered for your remote access links, that'll get you emails, transcripts, audio, video, everything. You can go ahead and reach out to the SIDs at either program or right to the bowl. We can get you set up with that. Same goes for anyone who is expecting to cover the game on site. Your SID will have information on that as well, and hopefully those are already in. Coach Gundy should be with us shortly. We'll have him for a few minutes for questions. The protocol will be the same as it was the other day, with using the raise hand function to identify that you want to ask a question. Then we'll call you on, ask you to let us know your outlet before you go ahead and ask. Other than that, this should be pretty straightforward. And there's Coach Gundy. We'll let him connect to audio, and then we'll get rolling. We'll take down the screen share. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you.
I appreciate you joining us for a few minutes this morning, again, for the second time this week. So we'll get right to media questions. If you have a question for Coach Gundy, you can go ahead and raise your hand. We'll call on you to ask. While questions are coming in, Coach, I wanted to ask, after this kind of wild 2020 season, and as adventurous as it's been, to kind of see the finish line and to be headed to the Cheez-It Bowl and kind of have that reward for getting through it all. What is that like for you and your team, and how excited are you guys to be playing tomorrow night?
Our team had a great week of practice. We sent them home for a few days and then brought them back. And so we're excited about playing in this game. It's been an unusual bowl experience for us in that normally we'd be down there spending 6 wonderful days in Orlando at the Cheez-It Bowl. But so this is like a road game for us. We have a lot of work to do today in Stillwater, and then we'll load up on planes and fly down there and get to the hotel, kind of get settled in, do some walkthroughs, and then eat dinner, and then let the players kind of enjoy the evening, and then get up and have what would be a normal game day routine. So it is different than it has been in the past, but I was proud of our team for staying together and working, getting 3 or 4 quality practices, and getting a chance to go play in a bowl game. This is something they're going to remember for the rest of their life.
Remember, if you have any questions for Coach Gundy, you can raise your hand using the raise hand function. Coach, what have you seen from Miami as you've sort of reviewed them on tape and then started to prepare for tomorrow's game?
Well, a very fast team, like what we talked about earlier in the week. They're skilled at all positions. They've got tremendous team speed at every position. Quarterback is a really, really good player. He makes them go. Sometimes he'll pull it down, take off, he'll make a throw or make a run and changes the game for them. So this will be a great challenge for us. But our guys have practiced hard and they're excited about playing in the game.
All right, Coach, we've got a question from Scott Wright of the Oklahoman. Scott, you can go ahead and unmute whenever you're ready.
Mike, you talked about feeling that there was some value in letting the guys go home for Christmas. Did you see that, or can you really tell at this point yet?
Oh yeah, there's no question. We made a good decision letting them go home for 3 days, spend time with their family. It cost us some practices. We had what I would consider 4 real practices for this bowl game. Most bowl games for us, we practice 14 times. But for them to go and spend time with their family, take a break, and then come back, their attitude's been good. The practices have been good. In the meetings, they're all joking around, enjoying being around each other. And that's really what we're trying to get accomplished this year during the bowl season.
You've had your offensive line together. I think this will be 4 straight games with the same starting 5. How important was that, and how are they looking health-wise right now?
Well, they're doing good. We've been fortunate that we haven't had to make changes on game day, and so the young guys are getting a little better. I mean, we're not the finished product. I mean, obviously with the youth and inexperience we have up there, but they're better than they were a month ago. That's for sure. So it's good to have them out there practicing. Good to keep them together. And that should help during the game.
Thanks, Mike.
If you got any more questions for Coach Gundy, you can go ahead and raise your hand. Let us know. Otherwise, might be a quick morning for you, Coach. We got one from Tom D'Angelo that just came in. Tom, can you go ahead and identify yourself and ask your question?
Hi, Mike. Tom D'Angelo from the Palm Beach Post. Teams have dealt with all kinds of challenges this year. And going to the bowl games, there are players would have opted out anyway. We've seen that in the past. But during the season, Chuba, having him opt out with a game to go, all the scheduling and the things that have gone on with the schedule. How have you be able to deal with it in going into this week, having lost a premier running back for the last, I guess it was 2 or 3 games of the season, going back to before he opted out? Has it just been because of what you went through this year? Has it just been kind of, okay, move on, that's the next challenge?
Well, I think so. Chuba hasn't played in a game for us in really, I think 4 or 5 games.
Okay.
Since he's actually played in a game for us. But it's been a very unusual year for a lot of different reasons. And so whether it's an injury or you have a player that's deciding to not play anymore and move on to the NFL, you put the next guy in. And our team has handled it really well. It is unusual, but you're not left with a lot of options there. When you have a player that decides they want to move on and play in the NFL and they're not practicing, you coach the ones that show up at practice and you get them ready to play in the game.
Thank you.
Coach, our next question will come from Frank Bonner, the Tulsa World. Frank, you can unmute. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Hey, Mike, hope you enjoyed your holiday.
Yeah, you too.
Appreciate you. Are there any young guys that we may not have seen much on the field that's going to get some playing time?
Not really. Not anybody that would grab your attention. Most of the players that we had in the Baylor game, that would be the last reference. They'll be out there playing. LD Brown is practiced the last week and feels better, and so we'll have him available at the running back position. But the other guys that finish up the season will be the ones that'll be out there for this game.
And I want to ask, just this is the last game for Tylen and Dylan. How beneficial have those 2 players been to your program and kind of building that receiver room that you guys have?
Both of those guys are old school warriors. They compete, they practice, they play in games, they're physical, they're great leaders, they're reliable. They've been fantastic for this organization. Tylen has done himself wonders individually for his career with the year that he's had this year. And we're excited that we have him in the bowl game and he still wants to be a part of our team and compete. And Dylan has just done what Dylan's done here for years. He just continues to make plays. We play him at all 3 positions based on if we have an injury and he shows up and he's able to be very competitive and make a lot of football plays.
Thank you, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take one last call for questions for Coach Gundy. If you have a question, you can use the raise hand function and we will call on you. We've got one from Garen Emig of the Tulsa World. Garen, you can go ahead.
Mike, happy holidays to you, sir. Wondered if I could get you to reflect a little bit back to last summer and the well-documented issue with Chuba and moving forward, how that changed you at all as a coach with dealing with your players, managing your program. Did you alter anything and put your fingerprints on anything to change the culture based on that?
No, we didn't have any issues in the culture that we had here at Oklahoma State. I think anytime you go through things in life, you always sit and listen, think about it, look, see what direction you need to go. But we've had a great line of communication with our team. Really in July is when we all got together, started with the OTAs and started moving forward. And our players have competed. I think if you watch our football team and how hard that they've played in the games and continuing to compete with injuries and players that stop playing during the year and other players have to fill in. And then to finish up We played really good football in our last game against Baylor. And then we've had great practices over the last week or so in getting ready for the bowl game.
Did your bond with the players strengthen as you guys went through something as difficult as this season, or did that have any effect at all?
Oh, I don't think there's any question with what we've all gone through with the virus and all the different things going on in the country, not just college football, but everybody in general. I think for the group that we had, the 125 players and then the 75 staff, around 200 people, I don't think there's any question that when you go through something like this, live the life that we have where you're testing 3 times a week and it's just nonstop testing, waiting on results, guys getting injured. You have guys that stop playing, other guys are filling in. I mean, it's been a very, very unusual season, and I don't think there's any question when you stick together as a group like we did that it does make your bond stronger.
Okay. Appreciate it, Mike. Thanks.
You bet.
And let's call for questions for Coach. You can use the raise hand function. Otherwise, we'll get you on your way, Coach. Going once, going twice. All right, I think that'll do it this morning, Coach. We appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us. Safe travels, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, looking forward to seeing you guys. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Coach. And as a reminder for any media on the call, if you need to get access to the FTP or remote credentials, so on and so forth, you can reach out to the SIDs from each school or directly to the bowl. Again, we thank you for your time and your patience over the past couple of days as we sort out timing and microphone issues and everything else. So thank you. If you have any questions, we're easy to reach, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you and have a good one.